of the 7 or 8 matches I've seen, I don't think any race has been, closer than 5 minutes apart. I know we had a tie yesterday, but I didn't have the pleasure of watching it firsthand.
Yes, I was there for that. And our first item pickup is the Bee in a Bottle. So Sick Kid already live as both the runners make their way up to the Castle of Hyrule to make their way into the basement and save Zelda. Elminster on the left-hand side, saiontea on the right-hand side as they are synced up.
Well, this would be the first time that I ever saw the opportunity to do bomb farming with the bee. So that would actually be pretty swag to pull that out.
Yeah, that's actually a really powerful technique during like those ropes or the bats and rat rooms. Also to hunt down that last, the key is very helpful. But we see Hammer on Uncle, so a nice good weapon, but what we were hoping for, and bomb drops right off the bat.
Yeah, even with having the bomb done and the hammer, I still would love at least one of the runners to break out the bee in the sewers.
Yeah, I think that would be a lot of fun. Something that I haven't seen, although I am a proponent of keeping it for that mini Moldorm cave as well, because sometimes that can be a little annoying when dealing, depending on what weapon loadout you have.
That's a good point. With only the hammer is very, very good for almost everything in the game, but Moldorms in particular, it's really hard to hit those guys. And you're going in there with pretty low health. Blue mail this early on is very nice, though.
And now, because we've seen a hammer drop and the bombs already on our runners, it's very unlikely. Flippers there is the next chest here in the escape sequence. So taking fake flippers off the table right at the start. But as I was saying, with this item loadout, we're going to be watching these guys avoid any extra kills. They're going to be on a full-on race to the exit here.
Yeah, fake flippers is my personal favorite minor glitch, so seeing that off the table is a little bit sad. We're just a lamp away from taking all my fun away.
Yeah, and although sequence breaking is interesting and certainly makes for some interesting logical questions, when you're a player, it's nice to know that you haven't accidentally trapped yourself behind some chain of items and are missing out on the potential location that you should be heading to.
Yeah, that's a good point. And what really separates even mid-range skill players from the experts is their ability to track those sequence breaks. Boots in the Zelda cell.
Wow! So we got to go fast right from the start. All the footwear has been acquired. And this seed is going to turn on the jets, so to speak, early on.
Yeah, Boots and Escape is really, really fun to have. If you have the sword, it's just amazing fun, because how often do you have the Boots and the sword in Escape? Elminster, using the strat that you only ever see with the Boots.
Yeah, it is actually faster to just do that straight dash across. Seion, unfortunately, not doing that. So a little bit slower, winding his way through that zigzag pattern. And this is going to allow Elminster to get a few more seconds ahead of him.
Yeah, and if this race comes down to a few seconds, I'll be a satisfied viewer.
Absolutely. And Elminster getting bodied by those guards. They're trying to dash through them. Unfortunately, they were not cooperating. They were all clumped up like that. Couldn't use his iframes to get by.
Yeah, you really get into the habit of having the boots, of just being able to, run through and dash through everything. But until you get the sword, it's very, very frustrating, because you're fighting muscle memory.
But entering the dark part of Escape with 4 minutes is really quick. We should be seeing potentially here some sub 6 minute times for both of these runners.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised at all if we get less than 6 minutes. Do you know, fan, what the normal, like, really good NMG escape is? I think it's around 6 minutes, isn't it?
It's about that, because they will have the sword. So.
Boots should definitely make up for the lack of a sword. And with the boots, they don't even need that to use their bomb. They can just bonk this wall and save those bombs for Kakariko.
Yeah, and we'll see if either runner decides to make that call. Elminster gets the rat right off the bat. And Sam following shortly thereafter.
Yeah, very nice screen sync, and both of them choosing to save the bomb wisely.
Yeah, when you only have one or two bombs at this point, you really, really want to be conservative with them. Here we see, Elminster letting go just a little too soon, missing the bonk. And we are almost neck and neck.
Taking that northern exit is nice as well, because you can avoid the rats and the bats and just avoid taking any extra damage.
Yep, always moving forward is the name of the game as long as you are able to. And so no backtracking there. We did see the map down there in the back of Escape, so that means that this chest is live. 5 minutes, 46 seconds to complete the escape sequence. That is a lightning fast time.
That's pretty nice escape, and a half vanilla sanctuary there, a piece of heart.
Getting a map check right off the bat, we see Green Pendant there in Desert, along with 2 Crystal Dungeons. I believe it was a 5-6 at Eastern.
I think it was. Both players remembering to check the bomb crock spot, get that out of the way early. We'll probably see Graveyard Ledge checks on both sides. Some runners choose not to check this until they have the boots, but with the boots, I expect both of them are going to get it out of the way.
Yep. Tree pull being disrupted by that murder bird on both screens.
Yeah, the level 1 murder bird is not that bad, though. Those murder dactyls you got to avoid.
Yeah, they are dangerous. And both runners are going to give us a look to see what's going on here in the Lumberjack house. So we find that it is a big 20 rupee. Unfortunately, Elminster gets stuck on the stairs, so that's going to cost him a few seconds of time. And we have a slight change in position here as a result.
So no obvious place to go immediately. You know, we don't have the boots to get in the desert. Bo doesn't make Eastern a super obvious play. Really gotta wait till we see what we get coming out of Kakariko.
Yeah, so just rupees here in the Lost Woods, 1 in the Mushroom spot and 20 here in the Bandits Hideaway. So although we've picked up some footwear, we don't have any strong indicators. Second level tier tree pull here is also the 5 arrow upgrade, or 5 arrows.
They're good on money. They're able to, pay off the bottle vendor, do the sick kid while they're here. That's a lot of the Kakariko checks they don't have to come back for.
Yeah, they're going to probably want to save up a bomb, though. Buy bombs instead of paying off the bottle vendor at this point, but with the 5 chests here available to them in the back of Blind's house, good chance that they'll either find some more bombs or some money. Picking up silver arrows in the tight and the power glove, along with bomb money and a shield, is nothing to laugh at.
That's a very nice blind spot there. The glove and the hammer are, the 2 troll items for the triple Dark World item access. Moon Pearl blocks so many things that you're going to get it pretty soon. So nice to get the glove and the hammer out of the way, and perfect sync between these guys.
Yeah, we're seeing here a change though, because Elminster still has a bomb, so he can go ahead and head into the well, whereas Sion has to go and purchase some bombs. Gonna check Sick Kid here and see that it's a 10 arrow capacity upgrade. Meanwhile, Back of the Well has 300 rupees for Elminster, along with some additional bombs to allow him to continue without having to go make the route to purchase bombs. Oh, Sion picking up 10 from Tavern.
Nice place for that 10 bomb item to be. The last chest before buying bombs. Unfortunately for saiontea, there were 3 bombs in the well, so he would have been able to continue if he had made that gamble. But finding that 10 bomb pack is very nice.
Yep, and just rupees here in the chicken coop. So that does mean that Kakariko Village doesn't net us any additional progression outside of those gloves. But that is a great item to find. As you say, we're just a Moon Pearl away from Dark World access now.
Yeah, and they did come out here with quite a bit of money, so they're almost up to the point where they have enough for Zora. And with having the flippers already, knowing that all the other Zora domain checks are in logic, if they're just a little bit short, they'll probably farm a little bit before they head up there. Yeah, we still have library, race game, and all the southern items for chances to get rupee drops. So a lot of items left.
Yeah, and now we see a piece of heart here on the library shelf. Nothing to write home about. Probably is going to stay there. And Elminster's going to go ahead and check the maze game before going in. Sees that it's just some money, I believe. It was so quick.
Yeah, it was so fast. It ended up being right behind his item icon.
Now Sion's going to go ahead and do what I've seen a lot of runners in this bracket stage do, and that is just go ahead and check and hope that it's worthwhile. I guess they've decided that the time difference when you have to check first and then go back in is too great of a risk compared to just seeing what it is on average. But that big 20, he's going to pick it up, just gets him a little bit closer to Zora.
Yeah, I've seen the opposite. If you have boots, a lot of times people will check it first. Lower skilled runners will tend to make the gamble because it's more likely they're going to pick something up. But finding 300 rupees in the dam, they're good to go with money.
Yeah, it's just something that I've noticed in the 3 races that I've watched this day. It happened more often.
So today is a
just
good
in the
day
bracket,
for...
just the bracket stage, really.
So yeah, if it's today, you go for the race game gamble.
Yep. So Elminster's about 1 item location ahead. Checking Mini Moldorm Cave. Gets some excellent bombs there on the Mini Moldorms here.
Yeah, a little bit faster than using the bee, but the bee would have been nice and hyped there.
So Kana Samaria here is the only item out of Mini Moldorm Cave, but that's a great item to find, simply because it can sometimes troll you. Elminster tries to grab that full magic capacity before it disappeared, but unfortunately he fell down the hole, gets trolled by that crab, and
yeah, the crab and the Octorok there just wouldn't move.
Yeah, they were plugging the door there. And we're going to get our ice rod cave check out of the way. With boots, this is just so nice to do. There's really never a great time to make this check after the first... Oh no, that crab, it's dangerous.
And saiontea there, trying to kill those mini Moldorms with a hammer, very difficult to do, just gave up, not worth the trouble.
Yeah, an ice rod cave paying off with another bottle of B. Elminster's going to make use of his slippers now and do the hobo / island check / Zora's domain area. And I think that that's about as efficient as you could do at this stage, considering your item loadout.
Absolutely. saiontea taking the exact same route, Ice Ride Cave, and then most likely will also check the water areas. Having all the money for Zora, there's 5 items in this path, plus the knowledge of the 6th on the island, so no reason not to do it. I hope this is Sankart, though, because not a fan of the beeping.
Yeah. 50 rupees.
Well,
more money.
Yeah, it's only 10 rupees to buy a heart at one of the vendors. I'm just saying.
You could do it. And Sion following directly in the same path. Sets up a water walk, though, in order to make this quicker. Sees that it's 300 rupees on the Lake Hilly Island and is heading up to Hobo. So getting a little bit of a catch-up mechanic here by using that glitch.
Absolutely. And that's good to know. I know I use that water walk a lot, but I didn't know you could do it with the flippers. So I'm going to have to read up on that a little bit later.
So grabs the flute here out of the Waterfall of Wishing. That's another really nice early item. He let the bees go just to throw this bottle in. See what kind of free juice he gets.
That's a smart idea. It's really easy to forget that you can do that, and finding a blue potion there. Surprised he only got one, but it's very nice to have that blue potion early on.
And went ahead and used it right away just to get rid of the annoying beeps. So we thank you.
That's really good game knowledge. I'm surprised you didn't grab an extra blue for the road.
So a full heart container there on the Zora ledge. I would imagine that with only 5 hearts, you probably go ahead and pick that up. But
Yeah.
it depends on how much you value health early on.
Well, they have the blue mail, so if they really want to play aggressively, they can skip that. And that's the third 300 for the game so far.
Yeah, 200 rupees paid to get 300 back. So just a loss of 200 rupees, rather, is what I was trying to say. Not too bad, as far as life lessons from Zora go.
Yeah, it's not bad from Zora.
So there we see Elminster did choose to go grab that heart. Sion did not. So that's going to even them up a little bit more. Saving and quitting to the wrong location, though, will cost him time. Because he's going to want to go activate that flute immediately.
Well, without the mirror or hook shot, they're only limited to 1 in logic and an additional out of logic item up on Death Mountain. So where do you think we're going to see? Desert? Eastern? What's next?
You're right. It's kind of a tricky situation. They might go and do the checks up on the on Death Mountain just because, but I would imagine that we head to Eastern Palace shortly thereafter. Well, Elminster's going to bypass the Death Mountain checks for now, go right to Eastern. And Sarshal has 3 chests there, plus the 3 items available potentially in Eastern Palace. Definitely make things worthwhile here.
Yeah, it looks like they're both opting for this play. It's a little bit tough in Eastern if you pick up progression items that are, behind the lamp, and you always have to keep track of where the lamp might be. But it can be good game knowledge.
Minster is actually going to flute away after having checked Saharshal's house, so he doesn't want to deal with that right off the bat. He's going to go and check Desert Ledge and Nagina's Cave. He can't get up on Desert Ledge, can't get in there yet, but he can do this cave check. And I like getting rid of these one-off locations as soon as possible, so they don't troll you at a later point in the game.
Agina's Cave is one of those locations that you're really likely to put off for a long time, but if you have the boots and the flute, it's a very quick check, especially if you can save and quit out of here. He's just trying to find that moon pearl at this point.
Yeah, so now Eastern Palace or Death Mountain is going to have to pay off. There isn't very many other locations available to the runners at this point. And by payoff, I mean either open up Castle Tower by having 1 sword in the cape and a lantern, or 2 swords in the lantern, or the Moon Pearl at this point. And it's far more likely we'll see a Moon Pearl just because of the number of items necessary to get to Castle Tower.
Well, our first item in Eastern is a full heart. Elminster not trying to sequence break the old man. It's really nice to get that save and continue point when you have the flute, but without the sword, it's actually kind of difficult to do. So do not blame him at all for doing that. And just 5-hour upgrades and sorry, and Spectacle Rock. So most likely Eastern's the progression.
Yeah, and now it looks like he's going to head down and deal with the old man now.
And speaking of,
playing the flute, using he's echolocationing, I think. That's his technique.
Second item in Eastern was the Moon Pearl, so Sion T found the progression and has the Dark World access.
And there he goes, remembering that he can carry the block for a little bit.
Yeah, this is a little bit harder to do with the block. It's a little bit harder to get a sense of direction. But getting this old man, it's the best save and continue point. You get a full health refill immediately, and you can just float away from wherever you're going. Just has to not get cabbaged on the way there.
And so now I imagine he is going to head back to Eastern Palace, pick up his Moon Pearl. Meanwhile, Scion is making his way through that front dark room.
Yeah.
Picked up the key.
Sorry.
And he's got one item chest left here in Eastern Palace to check before he'll have to abandon ship, unless, of course, it does provide him with the bow.
Wow. Mirror, sequence broken mirror in Eastern. That is going to make Dark World routing so much easier, and that also gives him full access to Death Mountain now, albeit sequence broken access, but access nonetheless.
Well, he can flute up.
Yeah, but with the mirror and the hammer, he can actually get to East Death Mountain, is what I meant.
Yeah. So there's no, I don't think, is it sequence broke? Like, there's no sequence. He's in logic, isn't he?
No, because without the lamp, he doesn't have the access to the mirror. The mirror is the sequence break.
Oh, that's right. Sorry, I was thinking, what happened there?
Yeah, no big deal. Yeah, the mirror sequence breaking. When you're already into Eastern, most people are just going to continue on and pick up that last chest. So hopefully Elminster will pick that up as well, because that is invaluable. There's a lot of locations. Saiontea doing Hype Cave, he's going to be able to route in K45 with that mirror, things that he would otherwise have to backtrack to.
Yeah, you got a great map check there showing that the other 5-6 crystal is in Misery Mire, and the Swamp and Ice Palace are both pendant dungeons.
Yeah, it's Saiontea picking up the mitts in Hype Cave. Mitts are an automatic 10 out of 10 hype all by themselves. And with that mirror, he can now get the dark and light side of East Death Mountain. That's like 20 items up there that mirror sequence broke. Yeah,
that's really fortunate for him. It's also, Elminster's also going to benefit the same way. And there's the lantern.
So it's all back in sequence now.
100% back in sequence, yeah. This is also going to give him access to K45 right now. He's going to be able to go into the Village of Outcasts from the south. So a very complete route through a bunch of item checks here. The world is really his oyster. There's the Cape as well, which puts Bumper Cave on track, so he can do Bumper Cave check into the Graveyard Ledge, into King's Tomb. So really item efficient checks here for both of the runners coming up.
With the mirror and the gloves in the southern route, you can immediately, turn the frog in, do hammer pegs, and then, clear Thieves Town. And then when you're done in Thieves Town, do Bumper Cave, Graveyard Ledge. There's no backtracking in this route. This is absolutely God mode item placement.
Yeah, just really fortunate for both players.
Yeah, if either runner had picked up that mirror and the other hadn't, it could have made a lot of backtracking for their opponent, but they both opted to do the sequence break. At this level in the game, you have to be able to at least conquer those dark rooms, because there is so much progression if you can avoid those dark room double dips.
Absolutely, and Scion there going through what amounted to one of the worst potential dig games. 20 rupees on dig number 27 or 28. It was pretty far down. Feels bad, man.
Yeah, I think both of them might feel a little bit ahead at this point, just because of the way the items have come out, and the fact that they both picked up the mirror there. They'll probably assume that their opponent also did the same thing, but they've got to feel very comfortable about their position.
Interesting here, Scion not hammer dashing.
It doesn't have a sword, so you can't hammer dash.
Oh, that's right, you can't. I always forget. It's so rare that this thing happens.
Yeah. Would have been a lot of hammer bonking.
So Jeremiah returned to the light world, and we'll see if he picks up anything fancy for it. Heart container's not too bad.
Yeah, I like turning in the purple chest at this point. I think you can pick it up, walk over to the entrance to the Thieves' Town, and then flute away from there, and then just come back. You're not really losing much time.
I know he's going to go ahead and leave his mirror over in the blacksmith area. Same, not too much of a difference because he can flute back, but gets a bloomerang for it.
Yeah, that's actually good. You can run back instead of having to walk over with the boot, so it's a little bit faster. If you place your mirror past the rocks you have to lift, that might be the optimal way to do that, I think.
So Sion has not yet checked Agnes Cave, so he's going to go and do that right now. And Elminster grabs his big 20 from the dig game. And he's going to mirror and flute from here.
He's doing Mire area checks first.
He's got those Titan's mitts. Why not? He's going to get knowledge of the Misery Mire medallion locations. Also going to get access to Mire Shed.
Yeah, so it looks like a Quake is the medallion for Mire. This is an interesting route. He has the ability to full clear Desert Palace if he wants to. It is the green pendant. I think Sion's T route is definitely the more standard one. Elminster's is very interesting.
Now Sion's going to go up to do that Death Mountain action. So many chests here to check. And I feel like, although I like his pathing here, it's just one of those things where if I were doing it, a sword item here out of Checkerboard Cave, so Elminster's gamble pays off.
Yeah, I'm just thinking through like what Elminster might be thinking here. Maybe if he finds the hookshot in the Mire Shed or Checkerboard Cave, then he can get hookshot cave done as well when he goes up to Death Mountain. That's kind of what I'm thinking might be an option.
Yeah, and that's what I was about to say when I got interrupted by him finding that sword so rudely. That
wasn't me.
No, it was him. But that perhaps he wanted to find a hookshot before you'd want to go to Death Mountain, but Sion's deciding that this is a worthwhile endeavor. Of course, it's going to be able to do Tower of Hera fully, even if it is basement locked.
Yeah, you're not really gambling anything at this point. What my thinking earlier was you have the hammer. You can full clear Thieves' Town, even just using the Cane of Samaria. Just follow the route while you're there, type of thing. But the Death Mountain has so many more items, so having a sword makes everything a lot easier. So that does make a lot of sense.
Yeah, and anytime you have to reclimb Death Mountain is a danger that you are giving up a lot of time, because it does take quite some time to do so. So Sion grabs the big key off the first item location here in Tower of Hera. Meanwhile, Elminster gets just a compass out of Thieves' Town.
And Sion gets the compass out of Hera.
And Elminster gets the big key. So they're in opposite sync.
They're in a dungeon trash sink. The suicidal beetle there. Just fell into the hole.
So that's another rupee here in Thieves' Town. And the map. So three dungeon items and one item done for Thieves' Town. Meanwhile, Sion picks up that dreaded key for the basement.
Yeah. Hair's not looking so hot right now.
Unless maybe we'll get a payoff here out of the big key chest, and Moldorm will drop the next item. So, no, we certainly did get a payoff out of the big key chest with 50 rupees.
Yeah, a literal payoff there. Cyan not opting to do the bomb jump though. With the boots, you do have that 6 pixel margin of error though, and makes it much easier to do than without the boots.
No, I must say, Elminster's moving really rapidly through Thieves Town, considering. The boots, of course, helps tremendously. Having a sword makes Thieves Town a really nice dungeon to do, blind fight being very scripted and doesn't matter what level of sword you have.
Absolutely. Picking up that sword in Checkerboard Cave was an excellent find.
And Scion is forced to go into the basement if he wants to get all of the items out of Tower of Hera, as Moldorm has the map.
Always a tough call, deciding whether you're going to make this basement gamble. With so many other items available up here and everything that they already have, chances of it being progression are kind of small, but it's tough to leave it behind.
I mean, you're absolutely right, but it turns out it's almost always progression when you make that gamble.
That's the way it works in Rando.
So Scion, using Kin of Samaria to create his own coffee break situation.
I like that.
You missed the pegs.
That's pretty clever. I've never seen that before. So I'm just going to build my own little wall and hide behind it.
And Elminster takes care blind.
And as is always the case when you have the hammer, you don't need it for the big chest.
So just a piece of heart. He's going to grab the magic refill before mirroring out and is going to continue on with his Death Mountain checks. He's got a lot more item locations here. A lot of potential for some great progression.
Yeah, very nice blind fight, and both runners have picked up their first crystals 32 minutes in.
So 10 arrows up on the floating island.
Alright, we'll be skipping that.
Scion wants to get a look at what's going on here in the Turtle Rock entrance before heading down the mountain. And there's Hookshot in C-shaped house for Elminster. That's going to pay off mightily for him, as he's most likely going to head up Death Mountain fairly soon now.
Yeah, his goal of being able to just make one trip up here and full clear the mountain is paying off.
Yeah.
I like this route that Sion's taking. It's a lot easier to check Super Bunny Cave from the top than the bottom, and you only have to go down once with Spiral Cave. It's very efficient.
Now he'll probably check the first chest here in Hookshot Cave as well, since he can use the series of bonks to get there. And then head down Spiral Cave and back up Paradox. Of course, doesn't help that he's blocked.
Yeah, they another sword in the first chest in Hookshot Cave.
Is he going for it? Is he going for it? The hover attempts in Hookshot Cave
didn't make it that far.
One attempt. That's all he needed. You know, and I got to give him credit for taking a shot. You never know. Meanwhile, Elminster's going to go ahead and use fake powder here. He's got the mushroom. He's got the cane.
Yeah, I didn't see where he got the mushroom, but I think it was pretty recent. Meyer should. Thank you, Miss Metro.
Yeah, Meyer should, yeah. So Matt Batter curses him with another sequence break of 50 rupees. So doesn't logically give him anything.
Do you think saiontea is gonna climb back up here and check Spike Cave after we're done?
Well, I don't know. Does he have? He has a blue potion, doesn't he? So I guess it's technically, logically sound for him.
I think with the keep, you need half magic or a bottle.
Yeah.
And he's got a bottle.
So it's time now for Elminster to head up Death Mountain, I believe, and that is where he is. Oh, he's going to go turn in the mushroom first. Why not? He's used it for all
it's a
its
quick
good.
stop. Yeah, it makes sense.
So a couple of bombs here in Paradox Cave so far. There's the bow. So you got to feel good coming out of that dungeon, coming out of this check with a dungeon kill and the bow. So great progression being found.
Absolutely. A lot of value up here. Just the bow by itself would make the trip worthwhile. But
Yeah,
getting the sword.
This puts both Palace of Darkness and Eastern Palace to be completed.
Yeah, and they've got all the items out of Eastern, so they just got to run in, kill the boss when they're done. Elminster's going to be able to pick up a second sword while he's up here, so he'll have Master for a little bit longer.
Yeah, and I think ultimately that's going to pay off for him. He will as well have all of the checks out of Hookshot Cave. So as far as an advantage is concerned, I think Elminster's going to be slightly ahead. He's going to take care of Tower of Hair relatively quickly. And then probably make the exact same place as Scion is into Eastern and Palace of Darkness. Now the big question here is going to be, does Scion decide to go into Palace first? And the answer is, of course, yes. He'll leave and then do Eastern Palace coming out of that. Now, the reason I say that is there's also the opportunity here to go check the Pyramid Ledge and run up into Catfish, leaving Palace of Darkness. But even if he does go into Eastern Palace second, he can always just re-enter his portal to get to the Dark World. So Pod was bow locked, with the big key being the first item, but having easily found the bow. Oh, Elminster taking a double fall here, forgetting that you can't just walk over holes in the ground. Scion grabs an extra key to go along with another key. It's going to be very nice ability for him to check all of the chests in the back half now of the palace. He can actually use a bonk here. We'll see if he does. No, he's choosing to go around to the vanilla big key location instead. I like that play. It's nice and smooth.
Yeah, that makes sense. You can't really tell if you have all the keys for the back unless you've rolled out this chest.
Elminster now heading into his Moldorm fight. And that is all the keys that you'll need, Scion. So he's going to head to the back part of the Palace of Darkness now.
Yeah, this is a really easy dungeon. The level of your sword doesn't matter too much. Silvers and hammers, all you need. Powder's a nice item to find. It's always nice to find that before you do fake powder rather than after.
I wish that I took your bet, Ms. Metroid, because looks like I would have won $5.
Well, I took her bet.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I heard you say it, so...
Exactly.
Nice Harry up there to pick up the Quake Medallion on the big key chest here in Palace of Darkness.
Very cleanly executed.
So Pod is turning into a very nice dungeon. Unfortunately, it's not really going to be an advantage because it's most definitely the next place to go. And with a few extra overworld checks completed on Elminster's side, Sion is going to have to play catch-up on those at some point.
Absolutely. Elminster is going to, find the bow up here. He's going to have 3 extra spots done in Hookshot Cave. And he also has the Thieves Town crystal in that area done as well. And I agree with you. Pod is the next route, but there's a second sword and third sword respectively in Pod.
Yeah, so that puts Sion at the Master Sword now. So we're going to get... Elminster will be actually at Tempered by the time he gets here, so that'll be really nice for him.
Both of these runners have been so similar in their thinking. Only minor divergences. That's a nice beetle execution from saiontea.
Yeah. So now we're going to get a look here at the rest of the chests in the Hookshot Cave. Elminster picking up his Master Sword here.
Small heart piece. Our third bottle. Bottles are nice. Last item is just an hour upgrade, so no big deal if saiontea doesn't come back up here for a long time or ever.
Yeah, and that could pay off for him at some point. He will likely be picking up the hookshot relatively soon. I imagine his next location after finishing these 2 dungeons off will be to go to the Village of Outcasts, finish up those chests, and look at Thieves Town. Yeah,
I have no doubt that he's going to pick up the hookshot. It's in a normal routing path near a crystal dungeon, so that's a non-issue. The only risk will be if he runs out of locations later on and then makes a whole trip up here just for Hookshot Cave. But that's not that likely, so he's probably in a good spot.
Elminster going to take the Spiral Cave down and then head back up through Paradox. Fairly standard play. Grabs a fire shield for his troubles. And the bow is in Paradox Cave, so Elminster's just about to grab it. And then
we'll
likely heading over to Pod in Eastern. And Sion takes down Helmsar King and will be making his play on Eastern Palace in just a few moments.
Yeah, and all they have to do in Eastern is just kill Armos. They both picked up all 3 items and the big key at this point.
Mm-hmm.
But you can see how much advantage that sequence broken mirror has gotten. I mean, we got it back in logic pretty quickly, but this play made possible to you by that mirror.
Yeah, and if you're Elminster right there, you see that, you got to feel really good about that bow. It opens up 2 crystal dungeons for you to clear out completely.
Yeah, I don't think there's any alternate route there. Might have started at the mountain cave just for the health refill, but otherwise, same thing. Palace of Darkness. So I think you're right. I think saiontea is probably going to head back to Thieves Town next. That's the next logical place. Hookshot after that. I don't know.
Well, he did pick up Quake, which is what we're looking for Misery Mire. So with Kane, it is another place that he can go and complete, but it is a pendant dungeon. So.
Well, saiontea hasn't been over to Misery Mire yet, so he doesn't know that he has access to Mire.
Oh, no. It is a red crystal dungeon, sorry.
Yeah. you know, Swamp Palace would have been a nice option if that was a crystal dungeon, but Pendant Swamp, not so much. I think that Misery Mire is probably the next play for Elminster, and Thieves Town, then Misery Mire is the order for saiontea.
Excellent menuing here on Elminster's side. Managed to switch to that mirror mid-dash in case that it was a time to mirror out it, and it was. Yes, it was my bad. I remembered it being red and thought it was the red pendant. Misery Mire Chad is questioning.
I just
Metroid has it right.
I was like, Misery Metroid, it's like, why is it marked as crystal? Because it's a crystal.
Nope, that was 100% me. And Scion actually going to see that the Mire area is available to him at this point instead of going right to Thieves Town. Now that's going to net him the sword upgrade as long as he goes into the checkerboard cave. Presumably that will be what he does, and picks up the mushroom as well.
Yeah, I can't see him not going to checkerboard cave. Mire immediately, I can't see any reason to postpone it. He's got the cane. The boots will get him across, so he doesn't need the hook shot. And Silver Arrows makes it an easy boss.
Absolutely. Tempered Sword and also Blue Mail. Like, there are no reasons not to go into it at this point. Just time to get her done.
Yeah, I mean, there's always the hope that you can, go mode Mire at some future point, but this early in the game, it's not worth that type of gamble.
Yeah, it certainly isn't. And as well, you never know if the go mode for Misery Mire is even be worthwhile, as it can simply be you're waiting on that big key, and if it's the last possible chest outside of the big key chest, then you didn't actually save any time anyways.
Yeah, attempting to go mode dungeons can lead a lot of people astray. So I think Elminster just miscounted the keys there. I don't think he missed a chest early on.
He missed the hammer up there. And I think that's going to just convert him over to going through. He was trying to save a key for the back part of his Palace of Darkness, but now he won't feel too bad because this is going to pay off. The Quake Medallion there in the big key chest is required, and he does know that that's a required item, so he'll feel pretty good about it when he gets it. So Bugnet here in Misery Mire.
And so we are looking for no mode, we're looking for the Fire Rod, the Ice Rod, and the Bombus Medallion. Am I missing anything?
No, I believe that is all that we need just to clear that Turtle Rock. Skullwoods needs the Fire Rod as well, and that's about it.
That is a nice position to be in.
Yeah, 48 minutes to kind of have a clear path to victory. Of course, where you'll find these things, who knows? Anybody's guess. The world is really wide open. There are a lot of pendant dungeons that have some significant items in the form of Swamp Palace, and Desert Palace is a quick check, but is available to them as well.
Well, Signal pointing out in chat that Misery Mire is the second of the 5-6 crystals, and neither player has checked the pyramid, so that'll be very easy to route in.
Elminster, you didn't want to do that. So we're going to get synchronized cutscenes here. Perhaps not synchronized, but close to one another cutscenes.
2 cutscene rooms, close enough. I get consecutive cutscenes instead of concurrent cutscenes. That was a lot of time spent for 5 bomb upgrade. Not worth.
Yeah, feels bad. So just this last button push chest over here, and then the one on the far right, as well as the big key chest. There's the big key.
You might as well check the other 2 chests while you're up here. Or go to the boss. I might go to the boss.
No,
Did we find both?
Maybe we found both items.
items? All right.
I'm sorry, I was kind of watching both sides. I don't know if I missed them both.
I only saw the bomb in the basement there. I didn't see whether there was a second item.
So Elminster finishing off Helmsar King, gonna mirror over and take care of the Armos Knights. Now, at this point, because this is where we're gonna see what happens if Scion chooses to start, he's gonna have to start clearing some additional item locations in the hopes of finding some progression here. And it's going to allow Elminster to catch back up again, because he has already, of course, checked more overworld spots. So this is where we're going to see who's really in the advantaged position as the next 10 minutes or so unfolds.
Right, exactly. Well, I just want to say thank you to Zelda for counting the items in Misery Mire. So we know saiontea does have both items, not leaving anything behind.
Right,
But yeah, but I think that you know, with Thieves Town being a crystal, it's definitely going to lead him back into that area. He's going to, you know, he knows he can full clear the dungeon. I can't see him not checking C-shaped house to pick up the hook shot while he's there. The only thing that we might see first is a check in the desert, because he's right here.
Mm-hmm.
It's crystal number 4 for saiontea. And that looks like a desert check.
Yeah, and this is potentially has the opportunity to pay off big time here, as we haven't seen any of the stations. We do know that those two, the Fire and Ice Rod, have to be somewhere, along with that Bombos Medallion, so there's lots that they could use.
Well, it's 3 items with the green pendant, and desert is a very, very fast dungeon to clear, so like I said, you know, you're over here, it's not that big a deal, in my opinion, just to clear it while you're here.
Mm-hmm.
The concern for saiontea, you know, isn't desert, because this is quick. It's if he starts going into like a place like Skullwoods, not Skullwoods rather, Swamp Palace, you know, without the hook shot, looking for the hook shot rather than Thieves Town. That's the point where, you know, we start to get concerned.
So there's the second item out of desert. He mirrors away, and he's done for now. Not going to pick up that green pendant. And looks like we're heading over to Thieves Town area, as expected.
We know this is the right play. Elminster heading into Mire and saiontea heading into Thieves Town. They'll both be picking up their 5th crystal, and assuming saiontea also gets the hook shot in the C-shaped house, this will give them both item and progression parity.
Mm-hmm.
So the question is, where do they go after this? They need both rods and bombos, 3 items that can be almost anywhere. Bombos can be anywhere but Turtle Rock, and the Ice Rod can be anywhere but on Trinex. So a lot of potentials for divergences and gambles coming up.
Yeah, absolutely. It's going to be interesting. Now, I would say that from a density location, heading into Swamp is probably a big draw after Thieves Town for Scion and after Misery Mire here for Elminster, just for the sheer volume of potential items to locate. But they will have both of their red crystals, so we might actually go ahead and do Pyramid Fairy into Catfish.
Pyramid Fairy wouldn't be bad. saiontea coming out of here might decide that he's close enough to Skull Woods. We'll just take a look into there. I don't think he did any of the northern Dark World stuff, so it might be like, I'll check Bumper Cave and Skull Woods.
Yeah, Bumper Cave is still live and unknown for us, so it could definitely hold something important.
Well, one of them did Bumper Cave. I thought Elminster did Bumper Cave and Graveyard Ledge, and Scion didn't, or one of them did.
He did King's Tomb and Graveyard Ledge, I think. I don't think he had the cape at the time. I'm not sure.
We saw the item though, and it was a trash item.
Elminster about to pick up his bomb upgrade capacity to go along with the bug net. I do remember talking about Graveyard Bumper and King's Tomb, but I don't know if I remember seeing either of them go.
Well, it's probably the last race, or the race before, or the race before that.
So Elminster's going to see his big key there, and that's going to start him down the path towards heading to the boss. So just these dark rooms here for Elminster, they're going to go pretty quick.
Yeah, it's just waiting out the dungeons that the other ones have done at this point.
It looks like Elminster's going to set up the spooky action.
No fire rod, no spooky.
No fire rod, can't do it. He threw the block, thinking about it. And so simultaneous boss fights. And Vitreous goes down first, but Blind is going to fall shortly thereafter. And our runners are pretty much dead even at this point as a result of this. So that's very exciting.
Yeah, they're literally holding the crystals up at the same time.
Mm-hmm. So it's really going to be interesting to see where they go next is going to pay off. Elminster has to head into Desert. It's right there. But that's not going to be a very long divergence. Meanwhile, Scion is heading up to Bumper Cave.
Maybe?
I had a little hesitation, but he was like, oh yeah, might as well check. Just 10 arrows, so...
10 arrows, so no bumper cave hype today.
Now, I know Scion does have the hook shot. He did pick that up. And we're getting our graveyard ledge check. Just an arrow capacity upgrade, so that's not paying off yet for him.
Yeah, there's a lot of arrow theme in this northern Darkworld area.
It's very interesting here. Elminster is spending a lot more time than I would have thought he would.
I think he's going for the.
He's going to go for that green. Oh, and look at that. King's Tomb nets the Fire Rod for Scion, so that's a big find. Opens up Skull Woods for him immediately. His next location to check, I would imagine.
No doubt. Crystal, you can full clear. That's where you go.
Absolutely, and so made the right choice there.
Yeah, that said, as we were discussing earlier, the Desert Palace check by itself is not a big time loss, so Elminster will be, done here and able to flute and turn that pendant in immediately if he wants to. Assuming that has nothing, it's if he continues on and does Graveyard Ledge, it's not going to be much of a difference. It really comes down to where Bombos and Ice Rod are at this point.
This also means that once you find access to Turtle Rock, it could be another dreaded situation, Turtle Rock or not. Which never feels comfortable.
Yeah, gambling Ice Rod and Turtle Rock. If Bombos shows up first, I would say it's probably the best play.
So this is another divergence here that Elminster did pick up this green pendant. If it pays off, it'll be a significant advantage for him. And he's going to check immediately to see if it was worth doing. Just a piece of heart.
Yeah, saiontea picking up the full heart at the same time came out ahead on that.
Mm-hmm. And Elminster now going to check this. I would assume or hopefully for his sake, is going to be going to that north route, not heading into Skull Woods first. Oh, he's thought about it. He's fluting and leaving the deck. But it looks like he's going to go into Skull Woods. This is unfortunate for him.
Not actually going to be a big deal because you check at the front for the items. He's not going to be able to progress to the back. I imagine that he'll probably do Bumper Cave and Graveyard Ledge afterwards, so it's a slight inconvenience.
Oh, Scion. Is he going to make it? No!
Yeah,
no magic power. That's a problem.
Yeah, but both of the items in Skullwoods being in the front means both runners had to do the front anyway.
Mm-hmm. So without the magic,
so there's enough magic in pots here that he can, as long as he lights the first 3 torches with the lamp, there's enough for the fire rod for the 4th torch. So he's got Tempered Sword. Makes sense to just clear these guys out. You can clear these guys out with silver arrows very quickly.
Yeah, often forgotten, but they will take damage there.
Elminster's going to pick up his other item in his chest, and then he will have no more progression in Skullwoods. So if he goes to Graveyard Ledge, he's okay. If he goes somewhere else, it could be not as good. Excellent color commentary there. It could be not as good.
Not as good. So Elminster forgetting that he doesn't need to pull that statue as well. He does have the Cane of Samaria. As Scion takes on Mothula now, Mothula actually cooperating very nicely there, staying close to the middle of the room with the Tempered Sword. Feels good.
Very nice.
Picks up his 6th crystal. Just looking for Bombos and Ice Rod now. Bombos, of course, needed to get into Turtle Rock. Ice Rod could be in there.
Yeah, nice crystal advantage for Scion T. Looks like Elminster is heading in the right direction to pick up the Fire Rod, so probably be back to Skullwoods right away. It's tough at this point, though. It comes down to checking horrible locations. I mean, Bombos can be anywhere but Turtle Rock. I think you would probably do Swamp Palace or Pyramid Ferry.
I think he's going to do Pyramid Ferry first, but I agree with you. I would definitely be checking Swamp Palace before I went anywhere else.
Yeah, there's 3 items up here at the ferry, and we haven't checked what's on the pyramid, so this could pay off.
And Catfish as well is available, so that adds another item sort of in this line of check.
Yeah, I think if you have the boots, if you're going to do pyramid, you just do Catfish and then mirror and flute back and then do swamp. That's a good route.
So Elminster picking up that Fire Rod, fluting away. Looks like he's going to go and do the Pyramid Ferry here. So instead of going right into Skullwoods, there's no items there for him. He knows he's not going to get any progression. So he's on the hunt for additional progression before going back into that dungeon. I like that play. When you're not sure where you need to go, and there's nothing where you do know you can go, it's not really worth the check. There's the mirror shield on the pyramid ledge.
Yeah, that does make a lot of sense. You can pick up the crystal at any time.
Mm-hmm. Scion mirroring out of this.
So no Catfish check for Scion.
Yeah, that's an interesting decision from my perspective, but he's going to head right up to check those last 3 chests in Hookshot, yeah.
Yeah, Hookshot Cave. And maybe Spike Cave afterwards.
Mm-hmm. Now we do know that Hookshot Cave is not going to pay off. Spike Cave is a question mark for us.
Yeah, Turtle Rock being Bombos here instead of Quake is really, really good for them. I think it narrows down. I mean, eliminates all Turtle Rock as a potential spot to have one of the 2 items that can be anywhere in the game.
Yeah, you actually hope to find Ice Rod before you find Bombos in this case.
Yeah, you definitely want Bombos to be your go mode.
Scion getting his look here at I don't know if he had seen Turtle Rock's requirement yet. I feel like he must have checked it, but he's going to head into this Hookshot Cave and unfortunately not find anything that he wants to see. And we'll see if his decision to skip Catfish will come back to haunt him as Elminster collects 5 arrow capacity upgrades, so did not help.
Yeah, no progression there. Scion T, the decision to skip it could still hurt him if he decides to route it in later, as it will take more time. But we're seeing our first Spike Cave check as well.
Meanwhile, Elminster looks like he's going to head into Swamp Palace from this point. And I like that play. He doesn't have as many items to check elsewhere, so this is definitely the highest item location. Spike Cave just 10 arrows, so it doesn't pay off.
Yeah, I think with Hookshot Cave going and Spike Cave, those 4 items means that's a better play than Swamp. Swamp can be really, really slow, and there's only 6. But yeah, both of them basically Swamp's their best bet at this point. Just hope we find that Ice Rod before Bombos. I really do feel sorry for them. When you see a seed that's pendant ice and pendant swamp, you make that mistake and you get your hopes up, and then it never works out. These guys should know better by now.
Yeah, you just kind of wish that you're going to get an opportunity to dodge these dungeons completely, but it's hard to have a complete skip on Swamp Palace just because of the sheer volume of items potentially in it. First location just is a full heart container.
And chat pointing out that Pedestal is not dead until we actually get those 2 items.
Yeah, now that we have access to Ice Palace with the Fire Rod, we do know that Bombos could be on the pedestal along with the Ice Rod.
So this is their first trip into Swamp Palace for either runner, and they're essentially a room apart at this point. Neither's gone to ice. Elm has cleared desert, so that's a 1 pendant advantage if we're looking at pedestal.
Yeah, it is still either player's game, although Scion does seem to be slightly ahead at this point just because has completed Skullwoods. If they find their progression here, then that is definitely going to be the case that he'll be ahead.
Yeah, they they both have one-offs. Saiontea has the green pendant as a one-off, and Catfish. Elminster has Spike Cave.
Additionally, it could also come down to deciding whether or not to go left side first. If Scion chooses to do that, it might be advantageous for him. But there's the Ether Medallion, not the right one. And Scion is going right to the left side.
Well, I like the full left play if you're looking for 2 items. It's a little faster.
Yeah, it's always a balancing point between number of items you're looking for, number of places you have left to check. What are the chances that there's going to be something in that side of the dungeon? And that's a lot of, being familiar with the logic, being familiar with a little bit of percentile chances for things to happen that might color your decision-making process. Elminster takes down Argus for the big 20 there and the blue pendant.
Yeah, and I would expect Elminster to come back in and finish off this dungeon. Because if he's down to this or Ice Palace or, like a one-off like Spike Cave. Neither of them. So Elminster's, he checked Magic Bat with the fake powder. Saiontea, I don't think he's checked that since he got the actual powder. But we know it's not the progression item.
So left side just has nothing exciting.
Yeah, red rupee.
Ooh, compass in the big key chest.
So, never mind.
So this does mean, though, that our runners are stuck at this point. We know they're not finding progression here in Swamp.
I'm gonna say let's do ice.
Yeah, and at this point, that's probably where they're going to have to head, and we might even get the blind ped pull.
They need 2 items, and there's only 3 in Ice Palace. So unless it, gives them both, I would expect Elminster to do a blind ped pull, and then saiontea probably to clear out desert.
And this is actually going to pay off big time. In the event that is required, it's going to pay off really well for Elminster on account of he has to go back to Skullwoods anyway to defeat Mothula. And so it's not even really out of his projected path to go check there in the event that it doesn't work out.
That'll be interesting. If it turns out that he does end up pulling Pedestal, remember to ask him, because you're the one who thought of this. Remember to ask him if he postponed Skullwoods because he might have to go back there later, or if he just didn't feel like getting the crystal right away.
Well, he didn't have the fire rod, right? So
I meant like after he got the fire rod.
Oh, okay.
Did he say like I'm not going to go back there because I don't need to right away? I already have both items, or I might need to route it in with a pedestal later on. I only asked that because if it was me, I would have just gotten the crystal immediately, not thought that far ahead.
Scion choosing to do his catfish check now, kind of wishing that perhaps he had done that a little sooner.
Yeah, you want to try to make it so you can never check an item, and that was Sion's goal for skipping this. Second best option is to make it the routing optimal, and third best is you have to backtrack. You falling asleep over there?
I did have it yawn. I'm sorry. I thought I muted. All right, so Elminster's about to try his luck at this bomb jump. Looks like he's going to actually forego the bomb jump. He has the cane, and he's got a full clear anyway, so...
Yeah, absolutely. He's going to... If he gets all 3 items, and that has what he needs, then he's done. If he gets all 3 items and doesn't have what he needs, then he'll have the keys. So that makes a lot of sense.
Mm-hmm. Well, there's the ice rod.
There's the ice rod.
Ooh,
That's what you want to see.
He almost mirrored out there, but then he's like, wait, I need Bombos.
Ice rod before Bombos. Absolutely what we want. So we have a guaranteed Gomo Turtle Rock at least.
Yeah, and it's not that Go Mode Turtle Rock is particularly faster than non-Go Mode Turtle Rock. It's a little bit quicker, depending on where that last key necessary is. If you have to go down Laser Bridge, it's really not much of a difference.
Yeah, it comes down to being able to skip Mimic Cave and just knowing that you're only going to have to climb the mountain one more time.
Well, the question really becomes, where could Bombos be? There aren't very many other locations left for the runners. On each side, there's a few spots that the other has checked, but for as far as we can tell,
I'm not sure if there's
close.
any locations that we don't collectively know about.
Yeah, that pedestal is looking pretty likely at this point.
Yeah, we have 2 items left in Ice Palace and the pedestal. I mean, a book could open up more spots, but it does seem likely that it's a ring of fire on the pedestal.
Scion now into. Well, there's a butter sword as a second item.
So that's our second out of 3 items in Ice Palace. Get your pet hype going, guys. If it's not the next item.
That does mean that we're going to have an extra fast Trinex fight.
Yeah, and that's a little bit of a disadvantage for saiontea because he's going to have to go back and clear desert. And he might turn in that...
Oh!
Oh! My gosh!
Bombos.
Oh! Wow. Both items in Ice Palace.
Now, at what point do you ask or question, did my opponent go into Ice Palace instead of Swamp Palace and get miles and miles ahead of me or not? I really feel like
you're asking it right now.
that's true, but also at the same time, is it ever plausible for you to think that that's not the case? Elminster forgetting for a moment that he does have to go and deal with Skullwoods first.
This is going to be like a perfect tie. Elminster has to grab this crystal. Scion just has to pick up these last items. Wow.
Yeah, it's going to be close.
No!
No, Elminster, be careful! Oh no! Oh
Scion,
no!
No! No, saiontea! No!
Scion, no!
Oh my!
My A Link to the Past friends
no.
and I have a saying that it's important to remember Ice Palace because this tends to happen so often. You find the one item that you hope to find, or did he grab it? Oh, he grabbed it.
Oh, he did get it.
Yeah, he did get it. That makes more sense.
Miss Metroid, you gave me a
You've ruined us.
We're ruined now.
He didn't get the butter sword is the second one. Yeah, I saw it when he menued there.
Oh, I was just looking at the tracker. Miss Metroid let us down.
Oh no, I got excited there.
Yeah, that was worth it. That could have been fun.
And so this is all going to come down to the fact that Scion checked that north route and had Fire Rod when he went into Skullwoods first, and Elminster had not. And that's really all it is a routing change that is requiring this double dip for Elminster side, and that's just randomizer for you sometimes.
Yeah, saiontea is ahead by a Death Mountain climb, essentially. It's definitely a quantifiable lead, but it's a small one, so definitely cannot call it yet. We got a long ways to go.
Yeah, there's plenty of opportunities for execution, as well as that big key could really become a factor.
Yeah, I think general execution can make a difference. GT routing is, obviously makes a difference with randomized key placement. I wouldn't say that the sword is going to make a difference. That's really just a nice to have.
Yeah. Yeah, and we're really going to be about 4 or 5 rooms behind, I think, by the time Elminster gets into Turtle Rock here. Making excellent way through the cabbage zone. Didn't get hit, so managed to maintain speed. Whew.
Yeah, so Scientees are just a couple rooms ahead in Turtle Rock.
Yeah, it's really it's close, and it's actually, you know, well within a 1 or 2 decision difference between these 2 runners. Now, if Sion does win, that will force the game 3. Just a reminder, Elminster already up by 1 in this race. And now's as good a time as any to remind you guys that if you are liking what you see and you haven't already done so, to throw a follow to both of the runners. They've been putting on a great show for us, along with all of the participants in this tournament. There's been hundreds and hundreds of hours of entertainment provided, so show them a little bit of love. Give them some follows whenever you find them.
I absolutely. I was a little bit hyped when we found the Bombos tablet, but now I'm sad because we were 1 item away from pedestal.
Yeah, it was close.
That was the last item before it would have been 10.
So Sion's going to skip Mimic Cave here, no point.
Yeah, don't want to skip the chest though, because
Could be a key.
Could be a key.
Oh, no big key though.
Speaking of keys,
Well, that's the question. Is you didn't get vanilla big key.
we skipped the vanilla big key chest. Wow, this is precious time for Elminster.
Yeah, and just kind of
Wow.
forgetting that he didn't already have the big key.
That's an easy mistake to make, and it's not hard to recover from. But we are in the same room right now.
And there it was. Now he is able to mirror, so it's not an awful change. And there's the small key to make up for it. Elminster not making that error. He will pick up his big key.
Yeah, that cuts a good 30 seconds off the lead.
So Lucius asks in the chat, how much does Butter try next save? If you are ideal, maybe 5 seconds. If you get a 0 cycle kill. You only need to put 3 slashes on each head, and you can potentially do so to avoid a single part where Trinex shoots his head out. But that's about it.
With Butter in the boots, you can get behind him and you can definitely 0 cycle it. But Elminster not getting the key from the big chest.
Oh no!
Okay, well, that worked out. Not.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah.
Just all of these attempts to kind of catch up time are having the exact opposite.
This is going to cost Elminster a lot more than it cost Saiontea, because he can't mirror back there. Yeah, his mirror spot is the entrance to the dungeon, so he's gonna have to backtrack the whole thing.
Mhm. Oh, and this is just gonna hurt so bad. And so with that, Scion has successfully navigated all 7 dungeons that were required, killed off Trinex, and is now heading over to Ganon's Tower. So, if you are interested, you are able to play the Big Key guessing game as long as you are a subscriber to any of the Speed Gaming family of channels, or you have donated 250 bits in support of the channel. Enter a number between 1 and 22 now to determine where you believe the Big Key is going to be. And should you be correct, your name will be forever emblazoned upon the leaderboard until such time as we decide to delete it.
Some unspecified time in the future, probably at the end of the tournament.
Mm-hmm.
So
Could be any time.
Could be anytime. It could be right after we hit save. I'll just
What if I did ! Delete? I don't know. It might do something.
Maybe.
And Scion now entering. So get your last checks in.
So does find a small key on the right side, but is not continuing on. Looks like we're going to see full left side.
Yep. So location number 3 here has a blue rupee. Elminster picking up that key. It's going to haunt him, I think.
I know, it was so close.
Really, really changed the dynamics of this finish. So check number 4 is a big 20. Check number 5 is another small key. A piece of heart in number 6, and number 7 we'll get as soon as Scion takes care of the Staphos. A small key. There's the red meringue on the 8th item location.
I love that boomerang strat.
Mm-hmm. It looks great when you achieve it. So Elminster's going to show us how you can do a really fast Trinex kill. Getting the 0 cycle.
Yeah, really fast Trinex kill after a really slow Turtle Rock, unfortunately. And just number 9, also not a big key. Here's 10, 11, 12, and 13 coming up. Red rupee in 10, heart 11, 12, another rupee, and 13 is another heart piece.
So now there is an opportunity for Elminster here. If he full right side, he has an opportunity potentially to catch up.
Yeah, I mean, if the key isn't behind Ice Armos, or if he commits to a complete right side, which is less likely, might be some catch up. Skipping that big chest, though, was just such a big time loss, because it was like a 30-second difference at that point.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Clearly cost him about 2 minutes at least.
So this is 14 bombs.
And if you're feeling behind, perhaps he goes full right side. We'll see. It's really his only hope at this point, I would say, to even things up.
Yeah, indeed. And the key not being here behind Ice Armos.
Mm-hmm. 15, 16, and there it is. 17.
That is the probably the second worst place for it to be, because I don't expect him to go full right. He'll probably just oh, he's doing tower room gamble.
Yeah, Elminster probably feels behind after making that mistake.
Well, in this case, then it's probably going to be number 22 for him, because he'll probably go left after the 4 chests, and that will be number 22.
Oh wow. So, turns out, lots of low checks from the subs and supporters. So congratulations, Ms. Metroid, for getting your name on the leaderboard. I'm not sure if it's what number it is for you.
Ah, nice. Congratulations.
That's her first. So there you go. Elminster now making the call to make that literally check number 22.
Yeah, that's the worst possible route, unfortunately, and that's the way Randomizer works. It's normally a good route. Just this particular, well, not the tile room check, but other than tile room, it's the standard route.
Yeah. Scion getting a really nice 0 cycle there, or 1 cycle, sorry, on Land Molus. And my favorite rooms, these 2 Wizrobe rooms, where you get to look ultra awesome when you use Kano Samaria to defeat them. Unless that happens.
The Wizard slaughter rooms they never ever get old. I've seen that 1,000 times.
Oof. Elminster missing the boomerang. Gonna try it with the red meringue. Doesn't pay off. Switching to bombs.
Yeah, Elminster must be feeling very, very frustrated right now.
Yeah, I think there's some evidence of a little bit of a tilt set in. A couple of significant lapses in judgment there, leading specifically that failure to open the big key in Turtle Rock. Scion takes care of Roldorm 2 and is on the way to the Agatu fight. And provided that stays clean, we'll be equalizing this matchup at 1-1, leading us into a Game 3 required situation.
Elminster left the chest in the randomizer room. He did leave a chest there, I think.
Interesting.
Wow. You're gonna have to ask him about that.
Yeah, that'll be...
Unfortunately, that's not the key. So saiontea heading into Ganon. A very, very comfortable margin here. This is the spin off the Trident.
And really, we're looking at about, 3 to 4 minutes difference here. And that's clearly going to be coming down to that, maybe even slightly less than that even. Comes down to that play in Turtle Rock plus the 30 seconds or so that Sion was ahead. Having to redo such a large portion of that dungeon just because of the failure to open that chest.
Yeah, and the GT key route, was just didn't work out either.
Yeah, that's just unfortunate. But I think that that's more of a factor of having been feeling behind. And just from his play, it suggests that Elminster has been feeling that way. Grabs a little safety on those fairies. Sion gets a nice... Doesn't torch glitch there, though.
Yeah, that doesn't need it with the silvers here.
Nope.
Just getting a lot of singles in. Oh! Taking a fall. Not good.
Not good. Still plenty of time to recover.
Yeah, did use the blue potion though. So
he did use it. Mm-hmm.
I don't think he has any more potions, so he's gonna have to really be careful of magic and maybe even get the torch glitch next time just to be extra safe.
Yeah, that's a good opportunity for Elminster to catch up a little bit, but he's going to need at least one more fall, I think, before it'll be enough.
Yeah, that's definitely a big enough lead that one fall isn't going to do it. But if he runs, he'd have to run out of magic or take another fall. Still unfortunate though. I mean, nobody wants to fall when it's this close and your opponent hasn't finished yet. That's the nerves for saiontea now has to be running a little bit high.
Getting some real nice spins here.
Very nice spins.
Oh, excellent on the Firebat skips there with the hook shot. Ooh.
Yeah, taking a lot of damage here though. Those bats, they really deal a lot of damage, even with Blue Mail.
Mm-hmm.
Teleports are randomized once you die. That wasn't such a bad cycle. So going for torch glitch just to be safe.
Yep. He's got a nice double setup here.
And lands it. Very nicely done. Imagine we'll just get... Oh, that's a nice setup for another double.
Yeah.
I should do it.
And there you go. So as long as Sarah can successfully navigate this 3-tile wide bridge of doom, it's very rickety and slippery, I tell you. He's going to successfully complete this seed and take a victory in the matchup. Finishing with a official Speed Racing TV time of 1 hour, 44 minutes, and 9 seconds. So congratulations to Sion for getting that victory.
GG's to saiontea. Crozone with Elminster going into Aga 2 here. I recommend we just wait to get them both in. That's right with you?
Yeah, I think that's going to be the standard procedure at this point. Talk to them about how things went.
Well, I've been waiting for 3 days to see a really close race, and this one's definitely the closest of them so far.
Oh, really nice on Elminster's side. That Aga 2 worked out really nicely.
Yeah, Buttersword does make Ganon a little bit easier, so it'll be a little bit more relaxing fight. Pressure is definitely on there for saiontea. You're one match behind you're on the bubble there, and you take a fall to Ganon. Then that's got to do a number on your nerves.
Mm-hmm. So we'll see here. The difference in this fight is that it's only 6 hits on during any of the phases to transition. Ganon, so very easy.
Yeah, nice execution on both of those cycles. Didn't even take a hit.
Oh, sets up for a perfect double on the first fire. That's interesting. You don't see a double there all the time.
Yeah, you really got to get lucky with the positioning. It's tough to line those up, but that was a really nice clean Ganon fight from Elminster.
Yeah, absolutely. Now, he, of course, as well, facing this most treacherous part of the game.
Yeah, the bridge.
It's dangerous, I tell you. Somebody's going to fall off one of these days. But Elminster finishing up this race with an official speed racing TV time of 1 hour, 46 minutes, and 47 seconds. So just under 3 minutes behind. Congratulations for finishing up, and GG to both of the runners. We'll see if we can grab them for a little post-game chat.
Yeah, that was really nice. A 2-minute difference after all of those back and forths. It's just amazing. We'll get saiontea waiting, and we'll just give Elminster another second to hop in here. And then, of course, while we're waiting, just take the opportunity to post the links again for both Elminster and saiontea. Check out their channels when you get a chance.
All right, so with that, let's welcome Sion to the channel, and Elminster, both of you. GG, guys. Congratulations, Sion, on the victory.
Yeah, thank you, and GG to Elminster.
GG.
Yeah, absolutely. That was a great race, guys. It was back and forth all the way along. It was difficult to know who was going to come out ahead. It was really interesting to see. There was several points where you had divergent routing choices, so it was a lot of fun. But of course, the big elephant in the room here, Elminster. I'm sorry to start with you to ask Sion about his race, but there was that missed chest there in Turtle Rock. Were you miscounting, or did you just slip your mind that you should open up that to look for that key?
It slipped my mind until Crystal Roller Room, and then I was like, okay, well, I got a key, so it's like 20% that I get screwed at this point. I might as well chance it. I kind of feel behind already.
Yeah, and at that point you were within about 30 seconds of one another up until that position, and of course you had to. Even then, your mirror location was so awful. All the way back to the start, you couldn't even have the mimic cave entrance to make it a little bit less of a problem. So unfortunately, that cost you a few minutes of time, and turns out that was the big difference. Additionally, again, to ask, there was a chest that you neglected to open there in the rando room. Did you notice that, or?
I didn't feel like opening it.
Never mind that one.
That's a redundant chest.
All right, and so yeah, your pathway through there, unfortunately, just kind of worst possible spot for the big key to be in, the last chest behind Ice Armos Knights.
Yeah, I don't think I would have done Tile Room if I hadn't screwed up Turtle Rock.
Yeah, we were wondering.
I felt behind, but I didn't feel that behind until that happened.
Turtle Rock was a little bit odd for both of you guys. Saiontea tried to go to the big chest key without the big key and had to backtrack for that as well. So it was just bad luck all around. But I liked, both of you guys. Your routing was excellent. I don't know what you think about finding Bombos and the Ice Rod and Ice Palace after full clearing swamp and getting garbage.
That was so stupid.
Yeah, that was pretty stupid. I was like, I'll go to the swamp first since it has more chests, and it's just like nothing was there.
Yeah, it was starting to feel an awful lot like there was going to be Bombos or one of the two on the pedestal. Were either of you concerned that was the case?
I was really starting to think pedestal after a while.
Yeah, I was thinking it would be a pedestal seed as well.
Well, the last item in Ice Palace was the butter sword that Elminster routed in. Saiontea, you just got the 2 progression items, but I think between the 2 of you, pedestal was the only other spot we hadn't seen at that time. So if Bombos hadn't been Elminster's 3rd item, that would have been pedestal, at least from the combined knowledge that we had.
So with that, Sion, you bring the matchup to 1-1. How are you feeling about pushing this and forcing the 3rd game in the brackets?
Feel pretty good. It's being randomizer, so I did feel behind during the whole race, especially when I felt again, and I thought I was over there.
Oh yeah, absolutely. It was an unfortunate thing, but it did allow Elminster to catch back up quite a bit, but wasn't quite enough for you to lose the lead. So congratulations to you. Great race for both of you, actually. The chat was really involved with what was going on, so lots of fun. Thanks to the 2 of you for providing us with that great entertainment. I'm not exactly sure when your next matchup is. Can you enlighten us when you're going to be playing your 3rd match, or have you guys not chosen a 3rd time?
Same time tomorrow.
Awesome. So fans in the channel here, if you want to see the match between these 2 players, make sure you're here to do so. I'm not sure what channel it will be on, but there's a very good chance it will be broadcast on one of the various channels. So hopefully you'll check the schedule and see where it is at. But with that, we're looking at some of the next matchups taking place coming up.
I have that open.
Okay.
At 6:30, so starting in 4 minutes, on Speed Gaming 5, we have Dude versus Pryor 57. That is game 2. At 7 o'clock on Speed Gaming 3 is a very hype match, In the Name of DT versus ACM LM, followed by Ninjembro and Laxion on Speed Gaming 4, only 15 minutes later. And going out to 8:30, we get Hippo and Hyphenated and Amazing Ampharos and Phyllion. So there's a lot going on tonight.
Yeah, just a crazy amount of matches taking place this weekend. So please be sure to check those out. As well, on behalf of myself, Crozone80, and Tiru, we'd like to thank everybody for watching, and as well Ms. Metroid for keeping the lights at the bottom of the screen lit up and tracking for this race. We couldn't do as well as we did, which was arguably an interesting commentary without your help. So thanks a lot. And thanks to all the fans and viewers. If you weren't here watching, there wouldn't be a reason for us to be so hype and having this much fun commentating. So we look forward to seeing you guys again in the future.
So thanks to SG, Miss Metroid, and Crozone, and of course the runners. So good night.
See you next time.